start like every day with japa of the Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra, and many of you are already taught meditation, means how to sit for meditation, but each day we'll give little instructions. There may be new people, others need to revise. Other things we have to also remind our mind. We start, we get distracted. Just when the Shanti part starts, we start looking into our bag. But one thing that please look into your bag, that your mobile phones are switched off. Please, anybody, please switch off your mobile phones. Switch it off, so that the alarms will not ring. Sit straight, close your eyes gently. Those on the chair, keep both your feet on the ground. Keep your back, neck and head in a straight line. Relax your shoulders. Keep your hands folded, interlocked in front of you, close to your body. Take in 3 gentle but deep breath. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurudeva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukhya Amritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukhya Amritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukhya Amritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukhya Amritat. after every mantra chanting, even if it's just for a few seconds or a minute, let your mind soak, bathe, immerse itself in the silence that you feel, you experience right after that. You may open your eyes. Yesterday we have seen that our mind is our best friend, our mind is our deadliest enemy. It took the great rishis eons to master this mind and to understand this mind. However, it is due to their austerity, their tapas, that today we have these great instruments of mind mastery, mind development, mental well-being. So that's a cliche word these days, no? And this is not an exaggeration, and it's much more than that. The very word mantra has been defined in Sanskrit. Words have got deep meanings. But mananat trayate iti mantraha. Trayate protects. So mantra is that which protects the one who does manan on that mantra, who reflects on that mantra. Not just repeats. But in the Hindi language, when I was speaking on Hanuman Chalisa, I came across that statement in the Hanuman Chalisa, कि तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना. That Vibhishan followed your mantra. Now when you really listen to the Ramayana, you don't see that, Hanumanji initiated Vibhishan in the years and gave some mantra, which means that advice given by a Santa or the Guru, that is for our own well-being. When we reflect on it, and what is reflection? Just not intellectualizing it, but what we understand should become our conviction, and what is our conviction must come into our life and our actions. And how beautifully it is said, Tumro mantra vibhishana mana, which also means those who follow the knowledge, the instructions, the guidelines, the ideals that are given in the mantra protects them and protects them from every possible thing. Now, yesterday we have seen that this mantra is called as Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra. Mantra we have seen, this is called as Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra. Maha you can associate it with the mantra, and therefore it is a Maha mantra. And it brings about victory, Jaya, which victory again, mighty victory, complete victory, supreme victory, Mahajaya. Just like you have Mahabharat, Mahajaya. Supreme victory over what? Mrityu. And in this world, what stands supreme is in front of which even the kings and the emperors, the dictators, finally with their crowns are buried, and that is death. And yesterday we have seen that what is death? We fear death, don't we? But that which is born will die. And therefore, to be free from death, just as one disciple went to the Guru, they are associated with Kabir, they are associated with Buddha, went up to Buddha and said, I've heard that you've got the secret of immortality. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Nobody wants to die, right? Yesterday I asked, nobody wanted to die, right? You also don't want to die, no? Yeah. I don't want to die. And you know what? Buddha said, if you don't want to die, don't be born. Because that which is born is in time. That which is in time will change and will perish. And that's why yesterday we have seen that birth is the death of the previous state, and death is so birth is a death is the birth of a new state, and birth is the death of the previous state. So therefore, birth and death. We celebrate birthdays, but what we are celebrating is, as we have seen yesterday, blowing off the candles. Jaldi jaane wala hai abhi, you know. He's about to depart. He's about to go. So therefore, birth and death are two sides of a coin. We celebrate birthday, but we cry or even fear death, because we lack the understanding of what death really is. So the physical non-function of this body we consider as death, and we think that death is the end of me or my dear one. And even though at this moment we may not fear our own death, but death of a dear one, and especially someone on whom your happiness depends upon, whether it's your parents or it is your children, whether it's your spouse, that death does cause fear, anxiety in all of us. If we understand that birth and death is only change, then we understand that change itself is death. And moment to moment change is taking place. Moment to moment, every cell of this body is destroying and is being replaced by new cells. No? Haven't you seen your own young pictures? Yeah, as your teenagers. I remember, once I was in someone's house and they have a collage of their photographs from their earlier days, especially their wedding days. Nowadays nobody keeps, they don't want to remember that. But honeymoon days, or when they went out for the first picnic with their children, those pictures are there, and those chunnu munnu, so sweet. And their friends come there and they say, Auntie, who is this beautiful lady in these tight slacks? And she smiles and says, that's me. And our modern children, that's unbelievable, Aunt. Yeah. And she feels shy. Yeah, that's me. Unbelievable means yeah. Tat and tvam. Yeah. It's unbelievable that it was the same person. Our condition is like that only, is it not? Change itself is death, and therefore are we not fearful or insecure about change? And that's why so much resistance to change. And yesterday I mentioned, even in corporates, change management is the most difficult management. So change itself is death. Now, once you understand all these meanings of death, then you will understand why this is Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra. Yeah? Now, change itself is death, and therefore we are insecure. There will be change in relationships, there will be change in our body, there will be change in life situations. Constantly we are facing change, and therefore whatever name you may give it, anxiety, worry, tension, the Indians would call it tension, or stress, these are all fear of change. Then tell me, if life was full of misery, would you want to live? All your sad, heartbroken songs. Yeah? Ab ji ke kya karenge? Yeah? Living in sorrow, living in pain is as good as dying. Therefore, suffering itself is. There are two types of suffering which you get physically, but the emotional suffering, and that too also of having done something wrong yourself. Therefore, living in something by which we have harmed ourselves, harmed others, and not lived up to the dignity of our ideals, our principles, or what is required to us, our duties, that itself is considered to be death. So, living in sorrow, living in misery is death. Now, when somebody is paralyzed, unproductive, then what do you say? As good as dead. So, those who don't live a productive life, a meaningful life, a life that will give meaning to you or to meaning to the lives of others, that is also called as death. And many people with all their limbs intact are more dead than those who are physically challenged, physically even disabled, but they are not dead. Come sometimes to our villages where our cord is working. Phenomenon, from the children to the elders, who you might even clinically say that they are not capable of anything. Incapability is death. That's why people are so afraid of retirement. Yeah? Non-performance for people is death. See, understand, death is not just this physical body. This is Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra. If you have to live in diseases, paralysis, or diseases in pain, or diseases that make you disabled, and especially if it is painful, it is as good as being dead. And all these diseases come from the dis-ease that we experience. So, living in dis-ease, mental agitations, in our Hindu culture, sin is not some crime done against God. Yeah? When your own mind is agitated, disturbed, when you don't live up to your own expectations even of yourself, that is called as sin. So, living in sin is death, which means living in suffering is death. There is another amazing death that we find in the Bhagavad Gita. When Arjuna in the battlefield, he is a warrior, he has seen death. Neither is a warrior afraid of his death. Yeah, but here is his dear and near ones. But it's not even the death of his near and dear ones, because they are also warriors, and warriors they face death. But his fear is that he would be committing a sin and the whole society would be living in suffering, and he himself will be living in suffering. See all the forms of death that comes to his mind. And that's why also when we hear of someone dear one passing away, we think about the suffering that we will be going through. We are not really worried about his freedom or her freedom. You listen, when somebody dies, Mera kya hoga? What will happen of me? Hear the conversation. You have to still go and sympathize with them. Suffering is death, but Krishna reminds Arjuna another bigger death. And he tells him, for one who through his or her action, punya karmana kirtimarjaya. In the birthday song, blessings are given that through your honest, sincere, good actions, may you attain fame. And for one who has attained fame on his or her merits, defame is worse than death. Yeah? See, there was a time, whether it was Japan, whether it was India, they used to say, wealth goes away, but izzat nahi jani chahiye. Your reputation, your dignity should not go. So to live in dishonesty, to live in an insulting life, having attained fame, and if that fame is taken away from you, worse still because of a mistake that you did, it is worse than death. And in this world, people are just waiting to bring people down. They did not spare Mother Sita. They did not spare Ramchandraji. Krishna to Baba re Baba. Yeah? People don't spare. Therefore, in our Shastra it is said, killing a person is not with weapons. You can kill people with your gossip. And that we don't stop. You can kill a relationship with a gossip. You can kill a person. You can kill the greatness of a person with just loose talk. Yeah? See, this is all. And in this world, who is spared? Yeah? Who is spared? And sometimes even companies collapse just because of false rumors. And you can't do anything about it because you're not even at fault. You don't know what happened. At such type of forces, you can't control with your actions. This is that mantra that even protects you from that. And if nothing else, one thing that we constantly live in is fear. And there's a saying in the Hindi language, no? Especially Bombay, jo dara wo mara. Living in fear, anxiety, stress, agitation itself is death. And such people, what's talking about this body dying? They live moment to moment like zombies. That's a science fiction movie. Zombies are not which is going to happen in the future. We can see them now. Living in depression. Life is meaningless. Life is not there. And this is the mantra. They don't think that, physically so everybody has to die. But let me tell you, Markandeya, not Ravan, Hanuman, all can live in their physical form. Even that is possible with this Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra. Even that is possible. So this is not an ordinary mantra. It's a very, very powerful mantra to ward away diseases, Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj used to tell himself in his Purva Ashram was in the science of medicine, and therefore even his service used to be in medicine. And he used to tell all the doctors that life and death is not in your hand. So don't feel, especially if there are doctors here, that life and death is not in your hand. Yours is only to save them. But even to save them means you have to treat them. Yeah? But even to treat them at that moment, that alertness, that knowledge, that healing that can take place, is to say all the doctors, before you treat your patients, chant the Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra. And I know there are doctors even today who are the top surgeons in this country itself. And according to what I hear is they've not had not one patient dead on their table. Later on everybody has to, but they chant the Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra. And that power has been given to Hanuman Chalisa also. Na se rog hare sab pira, you see that. No? So, with complete, and that's why we're going to be giving you the knowledge of it also. Now, this is what is called as mantra, and this is why it is called as Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra. And there is another big death which I'll speak to you on the last day, because it will make meaning only after you have got the full knowledge of this mantra. And that will make each one of us alive. Which means what, You didn't get it, right? It's okay. Last day. Therefore, it is called as Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra. This was given to sage Vashishta. Whenever we do mantra japa or meditate on the mantra, we remember our own Guru. We remember that Rishi, whose parampara this mantra has been passed on. And the Rishi here is sage Vashishta. We remember also the meter, just like Gayatri mantra is the meter. This is in Anushtup Chanda, so that we chant it properly. This is just information. Normally when you do the nyasa of the, then you chant all these things to remind you how to do it properly, etc. It is Anushtup Chanda, the same meter in which Bhagavad Gita is there, and many of the Vedic mantras are there in Anushtup Chanda. So, who is the Rishi? What is the Chanda? Who is the Devata in that mantra? Now, Devata, suddenly our image of seeing all the TV series and all this propaganda against Hinduism is this some people with fancy crowns, plenty of jewels, and there's only one unique, completely unique, different, and that's Lord Shiva. An ideal for these rock stars, matted hair, wild. Otherwise, all of them are really gold, diamonds, jewels, rubies, etc. That's the image we get of Devata. But Shankaracharya explains very beautifully, Dyotanat iti Devata. That which shines, that which illumines is called as Devata. In that sense, our senses are also called as Devatas. All the cosmic forces which are supporting us, which are illumining us, are also called as Devatas. But Gurudev has put this very beautifully in his commentary of Ishavasya Upanishad, and he says, Devta is the potential that is there in every field. And that means by which you invoke that potential within you, within your sense organs of perception, action, mind, intellect. And that way, if you read all Gurudev's preliminary books, and I hope all of you get the Manual of Self-Unfoldment, even if you've studied Upanishads, and read that, he says so clearly, each one of us is born to succeed, but very few people are successful. Success is our birthright. We all are here to be happy, but how many people are truly happy? Yesterday also we checked, right? The whole universe has got so much potential, but how many are able to tap in the resources to create wealth for the world? So in the universe, there is so much potential, call it the powers of the universe, and they are called as devatas. And for common man, you invoke these devatas, and these devatas bless you with their power, with their benedictions, with what they can give you. Even though in the Puranic stories that's what we hear, yet our mindset that has become today is what bluff stories, that you do swaha, 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 and from the fire, a devta comes up, then he gives you payasam, and then you can get 4 children out of it. Yeah. Today also, most people who don't get married till 35, 40 have to have children in that manner only. Only the devata is the IVF doctor. Yeah. So, what is the potential in each one of us? Of course, devta means much more than that, but for our easy understanding, that conscious principle that yields the power to provide to us what we require in our life, and in this case, to conquer death and attain immortality, to conquer sorrow, to conquer pain, to conquer disease, to conquer false propaganda, all this. Who is the devata? And it is said, devata is Trayambakeshwar, the one with 3 eyes, and we associate that with Lord Shiva, the one with 3 eyes. But do you also know that every mantra has its feminine power called as Shakti? And therefore, every devata is with a Devi, and she represents the Shakti, the power. So to translate devata as power, no, it's the one who yields the power, and that Shakti is Amriteshwari. Goddess Amriteshwari means the one who is the bestower of Amrita, and Amrita, as we'll see later on, but simple meaning is immortality. So to know the greatness of the mantra, who is the Rishi, the Guru of Ramchandraji himself. So this is just the information. Now, what is a mantra and how does the mantra work? Mantra at first is a vibration. Like every sound is a vibration. In fact, this entire universe is in its own state of vibration. Simple understanding, we know everything is made up of the same electrons, protons, isn't it? Yet the variety that you see is each of these elements vibrating at a different frequency. Okay, this is science. Engineers also may have forgotten it. Yeah. Children will say, we never studied this in our school, but Indian schools are far advanced in science. But nowadays they all want to go out for date, no? Yeah. And especially when they grow older, parents say, okay, you went for date, but get married. Family is good. He or she is good looking, good character, good behavior, also got a job. Yeah. So what did you find wrong? Why aren't you getting married? Mom, we did not vibe. We did not gel. Now what is that vibe and gel? Each one of you have got your own vibration. Vedanta calls it as vasanas. Of course, you do have your unique smell also. Those who are sitting beside you, especially in Texas, can know your special fragrance. Yeah. But each one of us, according to our texture of our thoughts, have certain vibrations. You know that, some people, you sit in their presence and you feel calm and peaceful. There are some who just walk into you think like a tornado has come. I mean, they don't have to say anything. They don't have to do anything. They just walk in and that something about them, See, this is vibe. Everything is vibration. Even the very thoughts of your mind are only vibration. So first and foremost, mantras are vibration that has an immediate effect of calming down your mind. Now you also know that especially those who are into classical singing, especially Indian classical singing, you have at least heard about ragas. How the morning raga gives you the complete vision or the mood in your mind of the sunrise. Rag Malhar gives you the sense of rain, etc. And those of you who are familiar with ragas, you understand that. Therefore, these mantras, whether you understand their meaning or don't understand their meaning, people from any background, why are they universal? Because they are certain vibrations. And therefore, even the Vedic mantras, you may want to put a different tune, but it has got its own swaras. In this Kalyug, to say that any one of us chanting it 100% right may not be there, but at least close, just like the singers. You think all of them catch the same swara? But to the best of our capacity, Vedic mantras must be chanted in the Vedic manner. Then it is a certain vibration which has its effect on the mind, with or without you knowing. What is any disease at the physical level, whether through pollution or through outside? Again, today we say 5G. Now, if 5G can turn your mind crazy and cause depression, why not 2G can improve everything? Guru and God, 2G. We just need 2G in our life. Guru and God can make a lot of difference with their presence and their vibrations. So when you say vibration, this mantra first and foremost calms your mind. Then it makes your mind vibrate in such a way. And since it's a Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra and much more than that, today if you know the science of homeopathy, if you know the science of Ayurveda, it's all about balancing your doshas. I'm giving you through all the different sciences that you may somehow be linked with to understand the importance. Otherwise, most people say, like we go to doctors nowadays, okay, now give me a pill, why do I need to read what is there? Then when you have side effects, then you don't complain. Yeah? Therefore, really speaking, initiation of a mantra is not some secret mantra by some power that the Guru puts into your ears. People like our Rishis and our Gurudev gave open air initiations like this. Because really meaning initiation is not only chanting the mantra properly, but knowing at what different levels how to meditate on this mantra and how this mantra frees us from not only this physical death, but birth and death, change, disease, sorrow, insecurities, fear. And that's how we will be unfolding it. So even the chanting of the mantra, and especially when we do it at a tirth kshetra, can you say this is less than a tirth kshetra? Yeah? In the presence of our Gurudev, in temples, when we chant this mantra, then that mantra seeps into our deeper levels of mind. Then it has its ideal, the devata, to create the right bhavna or emotion. Even mechanical chanting has got its effect. But when it is done with emotion, bhakti, devotion, it has a huge magnitude of power. But when it is done with the knowledge of what it is indicating, it leads us to the infinite. It liberates us from all these forms of death. And these 3 days we will be revealing it in that manner itself. So now you understand what is mantra, what is initiation into the mantra. And once we have got this knowledge, now even if you just chant this mantra, you think that knowledge is not going to come to you? Yeah? But if you have grasped that knowledge, you can take this mantra to rocket you into not only discovering great potentials in you, in facing the storms of life, the various storms of life, even diseases, death, but leads you to immortality. Clear? So I think now we know the importance of this mantra, no? Because when weekend is over, we are weekend. Yeah? So go chanting this mantra so that tomorrow on Monday you don't get the blues. Yeah? You get the clues. And the clue is, don't give excuse of traffic, etc. Yeah? Come on time. Oh, but my boss will not allow me. Chant the Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra and go to the boss and tell him, I'm going for something to empower myself so that I can perform better in your company. He'll say, go, go, go. You're not even charging him anything for it. Yeah? Free motivational course on how to develop your potential. Yeah? And how to solve crises in your life. And here you are getting it right away here. You know? In Austin, we are having a workshop on Storm to Perform. On how to deal with the crisis of life. The Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra helps us in all of that. Now, let us go first into the simple meaning of this mantra So it's just not a mechanical chanting. We'll chant it once more. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshi Amamritat. Om, all Vedic mantras gain further potency when there is Om. Om in the Veda represents the supreme infinite truth reality. The Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra says Yajamahe. We will go into great depth into understanding what Yaja means. I worship, I offer, I adore, I meditate on whom? Trayambakam, the one with 3 eyes. Now, you see, God has to be special, no? If He is just like us, they will ask you also, does your Guru do any miracle? Yeah? Does he drink from his ears? I mean, if He is just like us, then what's the difference? They will say like that or not? Yeah? So something has to be different, no? Not that our gods are biological freaks. Yeah. One with 3 eyes. And we will go into understanding how do we meditate. And it is through meditation that we discover that what appears to be so ridiculous is in fact the revealer of something beyond our linear thinking and even out of box thinking and disruptive thinking. That's why Lord Shiva, disruptive, to break this box of your limited thinking. The very form that we have portrayed God in is such that it just blows your mind off, to expand your mind into infinity. So, Om Trayambakam Yajamahe. We meditate on the one with 3 eyes. Now, Lord Shiva, the general depiction that you have is what? Living in the cremation ground with vibhuti all over him. Yeah? Jata means probably has never shampooed for I don't know how many eons. I mean, Lord Vishnu, of course, with all the sandalwood paste and all that, fragrant. But he is Sugandhim, fragrant. And we'll see that when the Vedas use these words, what is the significance of it? Therefore, these mantras are to be contemplated upon. Sugandhim, Pushti Vardhanam, who nourishes our growth. Who nourishes our growth. Pushti Vardhanam. Oh, that was Vishnu's job. Now, where did Shiva take up that? Yeah. Do you think he's trespassing? People have got such things. People ask these questions. That's why I'm telling it before only, so that you will have no questions to ask. Yeah. Pushti Vardhanam, who nourishes our growth. Which means he is the one, because of him there is self-development. People have self-development programs, no? Yeah. So Pushti Vardhanam. And the last line is very, very beautiful. Last 2 quarters. Urva Rukam Iva Bandhanat. Mrityor Mukhya. Mukhya, liberate me, free me from Mrityu, death. Now we have explained death in all its magnitude. Mrityor Mukhya. How? That also is said in this prayer. At first it's a simple prayer. Urva Rukam Iva Bandhanat. from the bondage, and if you link it with that, from the bondage of death, from the limitation of death, from the limitations of change, Mrityor Mukhya, how urva rukam eva, just as a ripe cucumber or a pumpkin. Even that is said. Free me effortlessly, just as a ripe cucumber is freed from the creeper of this samsara. This is a very simple meaning. And even with that simple meaning, the right emotions will come and we will know what to ask. If you go and ask a multi-millionaire for a donation of a few 100,000, multi-billionaire, a donation of few multi-millions, if you have to ask something that only that person can give. What do we go and ask Bhagwan in the temple? Oh God, make me pass my examination. Oh God, He's given you the intellect, He gave you all the opportunity, He gave you all the teachers, your parents spent the money on you, all you had to do was work hard, you've been given the intellect also. Being born an Indian. You've been given that intellect also, and you're going and asking for what you already have, and we should did nothing about it. So how did you get helped? Now you gave your examination, and see how people do, no? All these people are saying, no, we are atheists, we are scientists, we are atheists. Exam time, you see how all of them will be praying. All these politicians also know that they will say that, we don't believe in religion, but before elections, they're all sitting in the temples, or places of worship. But what are we asking from that Lord? Ask that you cannot get from anybody else, and not even with your own effort. Therefore, Mrityor Mukhya. And last, just an addition, Ma Amritat. It's short. Free me from mortality, but not immortality. Which means that before I have to depart from this world, let me not go from this world without attaining immortality. Ma Amritat. Beautiful, isn't it? This is the simple meaning of this mantra. Now, tomorrow onwards, we'll explain each word. First of all, nature of the truth, reality, God, Ishvara. Then only we will have the confidence that what we are asking for can be gained. These mantra of the Upanishads, of the Veda, these two particular mantras, there are many mantras, but these two particular, Gayatri mantra and Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra, they are scriptures on their own. Scriptures on their own. Therefore, the entire Upanishad, Mahavakya, as Shankaracharya has explained about Gayatri mantra, the Shuddha Pratyak Brahmaikya Bodhika. That's a Mahavakya that reveals the identity between Jivatma and Paramatma. This Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra, even in this one indicator, as though of Lord Shiva, is a complete scripture on its own. Just the word Trayambakam. And tomorrow we will be revealing that. And tomorrow is Monday. Somvar. Shivji's day. You're supposed to go to a Shiva temple. Otherwise, Maha Pralay. So, even though it's Monday and you may have a lot of etc., but do not lose this opportunity and see that as we reveal these mantras, and these mantras are not for some post-mortem gain. Our Rishi says, here and now. Sant Kabir Das ji, his very, very famous Shabad you must have heard. Moko kahan dhoonde re bande, main to tere paas mein, which ends with खोजी होए तुरत मिल जाई एक पल. Pal is not a second. It is a blink of the eye. An eye blinks at what speed? 1/16th of a second can gain it. We are always thinking, even now we think, okay, now we learn with Maha Mrtyunjaya mantra, then when we have time, in old age we will chant it, and then of course, we demand from the Lord that, now I chanted it 5 days before death, so now liberate me. But what do we need liberation from? Suffer all your life so that you will enjoy heaven after death. We want happiness here and now. And these mantras reveal it here and now. We want to be free from our insecurities here and now. So this is what these mantras are. So don't think these are just lecture series. These mantras, by the blessings of our Guru Parampara, reveal to us that secret, that power which lies in you here and now. Why delay it? You don't have to go to Kashi, Mathura. You can see Chinmaya Prabha here only. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo